street. Is everybody?
Probably.
I thought Angel was here. Where's Angel
shit.
at?
Oh my god. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to do that.
What the fuck, dude? Yes, dude. Nice, dude.
I'm sorry.
He's fucking sniffing a line and shit.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
We should have
I'm sorry about
14 in total whenever it gets here.
Okay. All right. Well, we can start our chat. How's everybody doing?
Great.
Pretty good.
Amazing.
Fantastic. Anything from the week or two? When was the last time we did this? 2 weeks ago?
Correct.
Anything from 2 weeks up until now? You guys want to talk about, get clarification on?
Yeah, sure. So in general, the trend in NA, I guess, is if we don't, wipe the crims, they like to take a hostage and try to exchange for their buddies at Pillbox. What's like proper SOP for that?
Yeah, unfortunately, I think I kind of started that. And it's always my fear that something like this is going to happen where it's just going to keep on being a common thing and it just gets to be out of hand. But I don't know. What are you guys' take on it?
I mean, personally, I'm fine with if taking their DNA at the hospital and releasing a warrant just to kind of de-escalate the situation and not have another shootout. Oops, sorry.
He's trying to be a bitch.
I think that's a pretty good middle ground, but I could still see how that could kind of lead to just disruption in general. We don't want to do the whole song and dance every time, we capture someone.
I mean, it sets a dangerous precedent when you do something like that, because then they start figuring criminals will try to piece together SOPs where we can do this to get them out. This is now part of our formula. So you got to be careful if you do that too often.
A question that I want people to mull over. When it comes to situations like this, we had people holding up the hospital and doing drive-bys on us, and we held up the city for about an hour and a half the other day when we had Buddha in custody. I was happy to just give him to him because we have to consider we're locking down basically the entire server. No one can go to the hospital. We had 20 people cowering behind a desk. No one could go anywhere or do anything. A main hub of the city was just shut down because someone wanted to take their friend out of custody. So if that's the case, it's more than enough, in my opinion, to just get their DNA, write a warrant for them, and just fucking let them go. Because I don't think it's worth the health of the city for shutting it down for an hour.
So if we do that, then that's making this trend a more common thing. Then they just know that they can come to the hospital, take a cop hostage. I think it's happening more often with cops now, right?
Well, the question is, do we value, taking this one person to jail over locking down a quarter of the city for an hour? What's more important?
I think this is more a message we should probably send in the Discordian app, asking if this makes sense to keep doing, and if it could maybe stop. Because it doesn't make sense.
In the hospital.
It doesn't make sense on both ends. I think at some point somebody has to be like, okay, this scenario is done, or we can pick it up somewhere else.
Kind of like what happened with the Vagos yesterday. That was stupid long for us.
Yeah, was that the one at on Strawberry and
Strawberry.
Yeah, something like that.
Gucci.
Where it's okay, you got one person left that keeps circling. We're trying to get your buddy's help, and we're trying to end this situation, but you are literally just doing drive-bys in different cars every 3 minutes, trying to take us out one by one. When does it stop?
I mean, what about okay, so what about so right now, I know this doesn't completely address it, but a lot of times there's going to be a shootout.
Mm-hmm.
We put the 95s and the 1013s in a common spot until it's safe to move. And we normally give it 10 minutes, 15 minutes. If we don't hear anything, we move them. But maybe once there's a little bit of a clear, the cap should be maybe an hour, and then the priority becomes we need to move them.
It was,
And I'm just
so this
saying
is what
an hour being a generic sort of time, right?
it
could
got
be more,
to.
it could be less, but
Jesus Christ.
at that stage, it's like, okay, these guys are going to bleed out, so we need to transport.
Yeah, and I think we need to talk to some of these individuals rather than doing it here, because I don't think doing it in here is going to change anything. Because yesterday it was almost an hour that everybody was on the ground. There was one person circling. We even got on their radio channel and asked them and kind of roll checked them and just been like, hey dude, your guys are kind of bleeding here on the ground, can we get them some help? And he was like, no, I want my guys back. So what do we do with that?
Well, whether
Control
it's an
the
hour,
situation.
whether that it's less, I'm not really pushing on any particular time, but the reason I chose an hour is because I've noticed, I know I've been in shootouts, even just this last week, at least twice, where it's well over an hour,
Yeah.
right?
No, yeah.
What the right time is,
I think the main issue is though if they aren't stopping at their side, at some point we're gonna bring EMS into the line of fire, which I don't think is something we should be doing.
Yeah, there's no.
Well, I don't think we should roll in EMS. I guess I was suggesting that's when we transport. So what we ended up doing with a recent shootout was with Tribble on duty was at a certain point where like these guys are going to die.
I don't think Mehdi is getting
We
it.
loaded them up ourselves.
My thing is
and,
like
uh,
I think
then
something needs to
transported
be said to these guys
to
rather
another
than
staging area.
us doing something.
Alternatively, oh no, actually we brought them to PD at that stage. And
Because we can do all that and it's just bringing the fight somewhere else where this dude's gonna now circle this point.
I guess
I mean-
in that case, then you're just having EMS then sit around for what ends up being nothing unless you do
Oh.
meet them at a different staging area.
He's busy
or the
eating?
PD.
Mhm.
I was trying to say that to him, but it's all good.
So I think a good idea would be maybe like a rule of thumb of hour for the situation. If one of them goes down, they're trying to retrieve them, give them 45 minutes because there's 3 of them. 2 of them go down, drop that down to 30, and then 15 for the last guy. If you can't fucking grab him, then we get him out of there.
So it's like 15 per remaining person up, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. I
Yeah,
think
because
that'd be
what
good.
happened yesterday was just like we had to raise our aggression level to kind of just like, okay, let's go fuck
Yeah.
this dude up.
Yeah, that's what I ended up doing. I was like, I'm tired of this.
That's the clip, by the way.
I mean, isn't that what you do, right? You have a couple guys performing a perimeter and the other guys going after the criminal, right?
Well, we had 2 up at the
Yeah,
very end.
Oh, I
So it
see.
was
So
it
one was
was
staying with the 13s, and then
it
I
was
went
4
after
at
and
one
killed
point, and then he just kept driving by and slowly picking off one, and it dwindled down to 2. It was Mac and Light, and then Light stayed with us, and then Mac just went out and just fucking fucked him up.
I mean,
So,
yeah, in reality, it would.
if
it would be
that's what we're
easier
gonna-
for 3 guys to take on 1 guy, right? So
Yeah,
if
that's-
you guys all just went and fucked them up, that could just end it if it takes too long. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't want it to get to a point. I would like for the other side to realize, like, okay, hey, maybe I should take this fight somewhere else or do it at a different
Well,
time.
I mean, like the other day, we tried to take the fight to the prison bus, but then the prison bus never came, and we were just kind of fucking get out of luck for that.
It never came. Did they ask for
So
it?
sometimes, I'm pretty sure it wasn't. It
Yeah,
was the JJ thing.
the thing. Yeah, but that's the thing though. They didn't have enough cops on duty. Like a lot
is
of
that
people.
what
Went 40,
happened?
yeah, like 5 people went 42 all of a sudden.
Yeah, we
I
had
gotcha.
we did the debrief thing for the situation, and then a lot of us were going 42, so that's why we didn't do the best.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was the
Okay.
same as that helicopter escape you got the other day. It was just Espinosa and I.
Right, right.
And we were just chasing.
47, 1041, 76, Sandy PD.
Yeah, and with that,
Yeah, I've heard-
Espino's, or already the thing is, so with like Speedy and stuff, like I guess a lot of the trust with the police has been they don't trust the police. So in my mind, I was like, we can just hold these guys up and then just get on the helicopter, but we don't know like what you are gonna do.
I'd
you know what I mean?
love to hear Speedy's logic behind some stuff. Because yesterday, I found a note in front of the PD. It's saying, "Oh, you're not welcome in the South Side. Any cop that comes out of the South Side is shoot on sight."
Well, I spoke with him after the
Oh,
beta
shit, right.
situation, and from what I can understand is that he doesn't like to attack the one between PD the hospital to PD. He doesn't like to attack that one, because he was under the impression that we would then provide a transport fast, so they would have their chance then, right?
Right.
So I think he's upset because he didn't purposely attack the transport to the PD because he was under the impression that we would then extend it by providing the transport, which I think in that circumstance was just unfortunate that so many cops went off. But
Exactly.
that's what I'm understanding is, you know, he doesn't want to attack the one from the hospital to PD, so he wants the one after that.
Yeah, we didn't want to like clog up the hospital and stuff like that. So we just basically waited so we can take it out when you guys go to the prison. It was just unfortunate, you know, that so many people did go.
I feel like that's just like OC bleeding into character. I'm mad because you guys didn't do a transport, so now I'm gonna do shoot on site RP.
Just to try and at least do something like that. Like in that case, you know, nothing could be helped, but you know, there's good faith on their end by not, you know, shooting up the hospital. So we gotta try and extend that by providing the transport for them, you know.
Right. Wasn't that the thing we were staging at other hospitals so we didn't like hold up the pillbox?
We did that the other day with Dribble.
Are there other hospitals?
I'm gonna mention that in the
There's one in Polito, but
there's
Polito.
where was that
You
one?
are, honestly.
in the
And you can
Discord.
stage
Doesn't
anywhere.
make-
Doesn't have to
really
be
make
Yeah,
on
right.
sense
It doesn't
to
have
go
to be
Polito.
like. No,
Like,
You
one
gotta
day
have
before,
better reasonings
we
for
were
shooting. I
transporting,
just
we
don't
were
see a
doing
valid
tactical
reason
mission
for
row, so I got everyone
leaving a
to
threat like
divert
that.
to the Popular Street
because
one,
I don't
there's like this compound
I don't
which is kinda
know
cool to
what
hold
they
down.
now
There's,
expect
like vantage points that people can get on to try and attack
for
it, and,
now leaving that note, because that
yeah,
note
that was pretty cool. I don't know.
I mean, if a cop gets a threat in real life, like that gets taken pretty seriously. So I'm not sure if he's expecting us to now raise the level and be on higher alert now.
I think there just becomes a point where even if you have somebody,
Because I mean,
chasing you,
the
just
reaction he's
gotta
gonna
blow
get
them
from
up
that, I
again.
don't think that's the reaction he wants.
Because I mean, that one time, where were we? We were on the east side, El Rancho, kind of in the water reservoir dam area.
I think that one needs an OC chat, and I think
it was.
but the
Vladimir
Crimson
was on the
Boomers are
kill
doing
just
that.
shooting
That's
at
fine.
long
There's
ranges
role
to
play
try to
behind
be
that, but
active.
you guys are gang.
And we just had a.
Gangs
there
usually
became a point where
operate
it's
when they're
like,
by
fuck, we gotta
themselves
go.
and stuff
We
like
can't just
that.
sit here
They're
and just
kind of
wait
just
for them
like,
to
yeah,
pop
no,
a
I'm
shot
not a
off and
gang
try to
member. I'm
continue
just,
the
you know,
active
it's just
situation.
man walking down the street. They don't do like acts of terrorism like this. That's kind of weird.
I mean, what it sounds like is that we need a means by which we can keep the pressure on in some cases.
Crimson Boomer guy last
right?
night was
And then
fucking
like Angel
hilarious.
said, use
That
the
shit was
transports
fucking
more often.
hilarious. Yeah. We'll get the transport thing down and I'll see if I can get DOC more involved in that. Try to figure that out.
We really only need one person for every 3 downed individuals on scene. Any extra can go shoot the guy.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I feel like it's hard to have
I agree
SOPs
with that
for
too, yeah.
circumstantial, you know, events, right? It's hard to like, you know, make guidelines for things that happen on the fly.
Yeah, it's not really SOP. It's just more of how we can deal with it properly. But this is 2 separate things we're talking about. What Malton is talking about is trading a hostage for their now downed person, and then we're talking about how long we should wait before we do something.
So in that situation with they're downed in, like, I guess JJ's downed individuals, what like, were you guys willing to trade like at all, or like what happened?
I feel like, because like he had the lower end of this, like the way lower end of the spectrum, right? So he's the last man standing.
Right.
He's
So
trying
you're
to save
saying, yeah,
3
you had the upper
boys.
hand. I got you.
So it's just like I'd rather him try to fight it,
just take the L kind
somewhere
of thing,
else. Yeah. In that situation, I mean, they could have asked for a transport. I think, did they ask for a transport in that?
Well, yeah, that's the situation I'm talking about. Afterwards,
that's when everybody went 42.
Transport attack, yeah, and then everyone 42. Yep.
Okay.
So at that point, it's like maybe the cops just are like, dude, I'll do a transport with 5 people. I don't give a shit. I'm fucking down, bro. But
Yeah.
I know other people don't want to. I'm down for that. If I was on cop, I would definitely do a transport with 5 people. I don't mind, because I don't really give a shit if I go down. Like, whatever, take my shit.
I mean, in that case, like worst case, we already know who the person is because we've already booked them. Basically,
Yeah.
we put out a warrant.
So you
plus
can always put
escaping
out a warrant
custody.
after. Yeah. So it's like, either, you know, give the benefit of the doubt to the crims and you know, respect. This is if he did like back off and then he recruited some people or whatever. But I told JJ, because I seen him, I was like, listen, if you get caught up, you know, me and Speedy are willing to break you out and whatnot, blah blah blah. But I don't know. It's it's ultimately up to whoever's on duty. Right?
Yeah.
How many? I'm just like out of curiosity. I mean, I think 5 is a good number for a transport too. How many? What do you think the minimum is for a transport? Like 3, 4?
I was gonna
Probably
say
3.
Yeah, but even 3. Could do
3
it. I
is
mean, like,
is a good number.
Yeah.
2 cars, one in the truck.
Maybe if DOC's driving it.
Oh yeah, shit, yeah.
Oh
'cause
yeah,
if
how about
DOC
that? You could
involved,
even get
then-
DOC involved.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna try to figure that out.
That's a good call. I like that. I'm pretty sure they'd like that too. It was Sax. I can't remember his character's name. He's Norwegian.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
I'll
yeah,
I'll try
right,
to.
yeah,
transports
the
and
Russian
stuff.
I'll see if I can raise their numbers because they're at 3. And I'll try to raise them to 4, so they can have 2 at the prison and 2 do their transport, and then all we would need is maybe 2 cops with us or with them.
Yeah, because then
That
it doesn't
could,
take anybody away from normal patrol. You
Yeah.
get more RP to DOC, some shootout stuff that they don't get to do very often. Because then I guess they could take lethals out for that, right?
They have the shotgun on them,
Oh yeah, okay.
so I don't
Alright.
want to start giving them ARs and shit. And it just makes them into a bigger loot pinata.
No, I was just thinking pistols. I think that would
Yeah.
probably
Yeah, does
be
DOC
enough.
have pistols?
They only carry the shotgun and the bean. I mean, they can take out whatever we took out, but they're only authorized to take out the shotgun and the beanbag shotgun and a taser.
They'll need
Those
something to
beanbags
shoot
are
from the
scary as
vehicle,
fuck,
though.
dude.
Yeah.
And we're still under the we allow the situation to play out, not like just running the bus into like the
Oh, yeah,
gates
yeah.
and locking. Yeah.
So if like you start getting shot at when you're even
Figure
I mean,
out when
for me,
crims
this
are
happened
gonna
to me,
give
if
the
I got
benefit of the
they
doubt to
started shooting
PD.
while
I
was in the
almost
parking
always
lot
see
like about
PD
to
giving
go
the
in.
leeway.
Yeah.
I stopped the bus at the
This is
gate
a
and
season
just
right now,
stopped
guys.
and
It's
I got
just
out. I died pretty
we'll
much
call it
immediately, but
cop leniency
want to
season.
Well, you didn't fuck them
I don't know
over.
what you call it,
Yeah,
but
I don't like
exactly.
this. Yeah.
No,
I think
no,
in
that's good.
general, taking it to the parking lot's pretty good because that's a pretty good defensive position as well. And then the DOC people inside may be able to help.
Yeah, and most crims now they think about blocking it off with something just because obviously in character we don't know that that's a thing. That they're not gonna just put it in there.
Yeah. So we'll figure that out. But as far as the trading cops for hostages and shit trading cops for downed individuals and stuff like that, I don't want that to persist.
Yeah.
I don't want that to
Just
become the new
bad
thing.
meta for sure.
It
Do you
is.
think just be really aggressive if they do that, so they know, if you do that,
I'm gonna try to have a
No, but-
conversation with certain individuals and just say like, hey, if we do this, you're most likely gonna get fucked up.
That'd be a good idea, man, because trust me, we've all been in
Yeah.
situations where we get people upset with us when we fuck people up and they got, a gun or
Yeah.
something pointed at somebody.
So, and that's for
I
any
think-
situation the cops get taken out, because that's been happening way too often. Toretti. When that happens, it's gonna be it's gonna be a higher escalation of force when we're dealing with a cop as a hostage. That should be a thing. It shouldn't be like, well, this is just a normal hostage walking in front of the pink cage. So I'm pretty
Can we,
sure. And
sorry, can I
Curtis,
clarify something?
I
with
mean,
you?
McLean, tell me if your cousin would do anything different, but if one of Curtis's boys was taken hostage, he would probably go in there pretty hard, right?
Yeah.
Oh. Go ahead, Snow.
Can I just ask, just to make, because there's a lot of eyes right now as well. I think it's worth saying that if you take a cop hostage, you'll definitely not shoot on sight, contrary to popular belief.
It's not shoot on sight, but if there is an open opportunity to get shot, you are going to get shot.
Yeah.
Maybe not on the initial departure, but when we
No.
catch back up again.
I have a question.
What's that?
So there was a situation. I think it was last week. I know they pulled the fake hostage thing, and when they got in the car, I gave them multiple warnings. I was like, if you don't, don't do that shit. Fake hostage. Da 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 da. So as they took off, officers shot at their tires.
Mm-hmm.
Is that perfectly acceptable? Because I'm pretty sure we don't.
They tried to put the hostage in the car?
Well, that's the thing. They kept saying it was a fake hostage, and then when they put the hostage in the car, he was like, "Yeah, I'm not a hostage." So we
To
When
Yeah, we don't-
clarify on that.
That's an OOC issue. That's not a.
Yeah.
Isn't that NVL?
Yeah, that's
no.
NVL.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's against the.
So,
Yeah, I
just gotta report that.
Yeah, report him.
Yeah, again, it was, we can't identify people when we know who it is, but we can't identify them. So
Well,
we
we
went
got
along
3 of
with it,
them,
and,
but
yeah, everyone got very upset with how we dealt with it, and it was like, well, don't do the fake hostage thing, please.
I guess
Yeah, I'm
it's
not
a
gonna lie, I
little-
just opened fire. Like when we said that we were going to, so like I was going for tires. I just
Yeah.
I magged them.
Really?
Yeah, I straight magged them.
Yeah, sometimes people just
you know.
don't take responsibility for what they do. You know what I mean? They don't take accountability, but then they, mauled about other people doing shit.
I guess on that note, I mean, if like people don't want to take a hostage for a convenience store, I don't mind that. But I think like for example in that situation, if they had role played that they had Ravi hostage basically, I think that would have been fine from my perspective. They wanted to play off like a local hostage. I just didn't like the whole fake hostage thing.
Yeah, fake hostage. Yeesh.
Yeah.
I don't really like the Ravi hostage thing though.
I-
That's
No, me
Local-
neither.
Local lives matter. Don't forget that. Local lives.
I agree.
it's just very
I hope you
lazy.
feel better, Trash.
Yeah, no, they do. They do.
You kill
I
a
mean,
local,
it's
I'm gonna kill
lazy,
you.
but it still matters,
Yeah,
It's
if you
against
walk
the
the fuck out
server
of
rules,
the
I believe
store,
so.
though, it changes everything.
Well, yeah, sure.
I just see it
Right.
as they're not wanting to like inconvenience someone by kidnapping them maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of a weird one because the mechanic basically requires you to
Because
have
if they
hostage when,
shoot them, then do you charge
reality
them
is
for
the
murder?
convenience store is just like you run in and you smash.
In
some
that
shit and you
case,
fucking
I
leave
think
before
we
anyone
would.
shows up, and that's how they used to be. I don't know if they should need a
I guess
hostage.
you really-
We had this conversation about a month ago, and nothing has really changed. So
You really only need a hostage if you're doing the safe though, right? Like if you're just doing a smash and grab and you're
Well,
not in the city.
The whole point of doing the stores is to do the safe, like
That's true.
because they can only be robbed once the tsunami, right? And there's a lot of people that want to do that kind of shit. So.
I mean, there's people that go and run the registers real quick and then run out. I don't see a problem in that.
They exist. I mean, I'm not saying there's necessarily a problem with that. That's fine, but like that's not typically how it's done because of the way the mechanic is set up.
Right.
Like those people, they're making like they make like $1,000, $2,000 at most, and they don't really get much else for it. It's more so they usually are just people that are new, they don't know what they're doing, or they just want to chase.
I disagree somewhat because I've seen Krator do smash and grabs, and like he does things within his character, and
Yeah, but he
I
wants
feel
to
like
chase,
people
he
that
wants to-
yeah, so he goes in there, does smash and grab, jumps in his buggy, and then runs and does Krator things. I don't have a problem with that.
fine. I'm not saying that's a problem either. I'm saying like that's usually the only time you'll see that is when people just want to chase.
Yeah. All right.
But just one last thing in regards to the like fake hostage thing. There was a trend going there for a while on NoPixel, and it was specifically stated by Jonathan in a community meeting that taking yourself hostage is like per definition NVL. So if you ever see that, go ahead and report that.
Yeah. Let's get more reports for shitty things because we can't escalate and do something shitty back to them and then we become the problem. So if you see something shitty, just business as usual, deal with it, and then make the report. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Yep.
Sounds good.
Yep.
All right, what else, guys? You in the back raising your hand.
Yeah. Are we chasing people off motorcycles and bikes and stuff? Is that
No.
right?
No.
So what
Bicycles
happens?
though.
What is a person to do? That happens a lot.
Let them get away, or wait till they crash.
Is it true
Again,
in
that's-
the States that you get a bike running, they just call off the chase generally?
Generally,
Or they
yes.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
there's so much more harm to themselves than anything.
They get rammed off the bikes in the UK now.
I seen a video of that. It was fucking amazing. It's like holy shit.
Yeah,
There's a lot of
damn.
hooligans on bikes, like bike jacking people and carjacking and taking people's shit. It's crazy.
Maybe if they had guns, they could shoot them.
Something that the London Met did to escalated to try and fix the problem, and it's sort of worked, I guess, but not really.
If that's a common thing, McCree, maybe just reach out to the person via email and just be like, hey, this is stupid and shitty.
Hey, firm, I've tried. Yeah, absolutely.
I've tried.
One thing that I wanted to touch on, because it's been a long time since I've touched on it. When I started, the standard for like cop statements was if you went down during a situation, your statement was basically null from the point that you go down. Where are we still at on that point? Like, if you go down, can you still provide an accurate statement? Can you provide evidence, or can you only provide a statement up to the point you go down?
Why wouldn't you be able to provide anything unless you're dead or you took the airlift? What?
You know, the per civil rules, like when you're down, you're like quote unquote unconscious and you can't talk, right? So what I was taught is the reasoning behind it was we can't now give a statement about it because you're injured critically or whatever, right?
Not a lot of people actually
fine,
roleplay unconscious.
I'm fine either
though.
way. I don't really give a shit. I just want to know.
I
like,
don't.
where
Yeah, I don't
stand
want
based on
to.
it.
And how would you know if you go down and get robbed and stuff like that? Like, how would you?
Sure. Like I personally have given statements while down. I just wanted like clarification, like if that's a thing or not. You know. Like, can we do that?
What do you guys think? I don't.
I wouldn't say that you should explain everything that happens around you while you're down, but you can obviously talk about what happened before and after you got down.
What happened to you while you're down?
I agree with
No,
that. Yeah, like
I mean, if
shot
you're
at the
missing
scene
something,
and-
just role play it out. I'm missing my shotgun, or I had an AR on me. It's gone now. Stuff like that. You can't just say, "Hey, that guy with the green mask came over while I was bleeding out and took my AR" or something.
Why the fuck not?
A little weird.
I've always tried to play it off as if it was fuzzy, like quote unquote.
Then maybe if that's a thing, then that should be a entire city-wide thing.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean,
because
there's
that's
been people that
I don't think
have
that's
been
a
speaking while down
thing.
and had issues. So. I mean, you gotta
Thanks so much for the
remember what
300
happened to you if you
soundbite.
get picked up. That's the whole rule of things.
Oh, sorry.
Anybody else have any thoughts on that?
Well, it's more like, I mean, I think up until being put down, you can remember clearly. Being put down after, like things that are happening on and around you, knowing that you are missing something can be part of it, but well, that's after you get up.
I always saw it as if we're gonna take like the most recent example, I believe this may come into play, is the summer immersion court case with Toretti when he was down. I always saw that as just like it becomes an interesting legal argument at that point. Like, is what Toretti quote unquote saw and heard while he was down like the truth, or was he suffering from shock or things like that? So I think it could enhance certain things for court specifically.
I like what someone else said earlier, which is like it depends on the scenario. Like, if you're shot, you might remember what led up to being shot there, but like if you were dumped in the water, like that's like another end of the extreme spectrum, right?
Yeah.
Where at that stage it's like, look, the situation was intended that you kind of ripped there. Maybe vaguely remembering that how many individuals there was, but connecting too many dots at that stage.
Jacob, thank you so much for the 200 bullets, man.
Happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a toughie. Trying to figure out how to deal with that the other day. And I tried, yeah, that was weird. I mean, it was like I was supposed to be found, but at the same time I had to make sure, you know, that I don't remember, you know, too much, because it wouldn't make too much sense and stuff like that.
I think sometimes it does get weird. Were you given like a video or something?
They were supposed to give you a video. They made a video.
Wait, me?
A selfie. Yeah, this was all done for
Wait, what?
you. This was all done like.
Wait, for
because of
what?
you.
That encourages
Yeah.
cop wipe. I agree.
That this whole thing was because of the whole.
I agree.
Thing when we shot the hostage.
Wait, hold up. Yeah, I don't want to know.
Yeah. So yeah, there was supposed to be a video sent to you. I thought that's how you guys got me.
I never got it. No.
Okay, so then I'm a little confused. There was like a USB
Depending on your
stick
injury,
supposed
you
to
can
be
check
given or
and see what
something.
your injuries are. Yeah, that makes
Did
sense.
they quote unquote leave it on your
I
body?
found it via
No.
a phone call.
Yeah, I do agree with the
Yeah.
cop wipe thing.
Or
That's just
something
adding
like,
to
either like
another reason.
video
Oh, we
or
gotta wipe the
audio,
cops
something
because they're
Yeah,
gonna
I
remember.
think that's what it
Something like
was. I
that.
got a private call.
with my voice.
Yeah.
Meta
Okay.
already a thing though. Most crims.
Oh, is that what
yeah, I
that
think it's
was?
just gonna add to it. Now on
Yeah.
top of DNA, they're gonna be like,
Yeah, it was specifically done for you.
oh, now the cop is
Yeah,
gonna
it does
remember.
get a
There's,
little
it's gonna get
difficult
stupid,
at times.
stupid, shitty, and weird.
To figure out.
Does it or no? Yeah, that's
You
what
don't
I'm
always
saying.
get straight
'Cause
information.
it would be completely
from
unfair for us
criminals
to
as
do that if
what the desire
if crims
is.
don't do that.
So you're gonna have to figure it out sometimes.
In that.
Well, what's the
case, they
statement?
actually
But
sent me
saying that,
some
hey, the
messages
dude
on
wearing all green took
whether
my
I
AR.
should be,
I don't see a problem in that.
taking the airlift or something.
I can see a
and they said,
problem
"No,
with
don't do
you know
that."
coordinating shit and telling I don't
But
know
then I didn't want to just like
trying to
remember
plan
everything.
Yeah.
But it was easily
plan an attack while you're
they
dead or
made it
down
so
or
that it
whatever.
was
But
supposed to be easily done to connect dots, especially with the phone call and stuff like that. Yeah, it was. It's not done apparently. It's not.
It's
over.
and it becomes a dangerous road too because
the rules
we don't
on
wanna
the
connect
guidelines
too many
simply
dots,
state
'cause what if
talking
that's
slash
not what they
organizing while
wanted?
down is power gaming.
and then the next
But
guy
then
does.
there's
you
a
know
whole
what I
bunch of
mean?
role
So I think you
breaks
just
going
do it
down.
the right way.
Yeah, it was.
right.
There was that, and there was a big difference between that scenario and then the
So
drift
collect
school
evidence
thing.
after so-called wiping.
When I was just
We
shot,
can. So that meta would be null
in
and
the
void.
chest, and that
So
was about it.
which is
And I was
stupid.
just laying there. But that's the big difference. I mean, I try not to say it like I remember like everything.
Have to reply as there.
But
would
I
be
tried
more
to
than 4
remember,
crims.
tried to play it as
We spoke
where
about
my
that.
head was facing, like the angle of my head, and that's the only thing I could see. So that's the way I thought about it.
All right. So the common theme of seeing is just be vague when you're down.
I guess yeah. That's the way I've been doing it. I mean, I don't know. It's just
That's how I've been doing it, if I'm completely honest. Like
not
vague,
making
fuzzy,
call-outs.
etc.
yeah, and especially not making call-outs.
Yeah, don't make callouts. I heavily agree with that. Don't make any callouts. But if a cop runs up to you and is like, "What happened? Are you okay?" and you're just like, "I got shot and fucking douchebag took my gun," I don't see a problem in that.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't have a gun on you, right?
You would know if somebody went through your pockets when you woke up.
Yep. Let's be honest, crims don't forget shit anyway. So.
All right. Any more on that, or can we move on to the next thing?
I got one thing.
Go for it.
How do we feel about tasing right away instead of going for a tackle first?
Coke gaming. Yeah, I was gonna bring that up too. Like, it's tough because you're giving them commands to, hey, I'm gonna tase you, and then they've just got that sudden burst. They're out of range.
I mean, I find if I'm chasing someone, I very rarely tase them unless I see them doing drugs. Like if they start smoking crack or whatever,
Yeah.
that to me is like grounds to tase. Because you know,
Yeah.
I want to give people like the opportunity to get away. So I will chase them, I'll tackle them, I'll threaten them. But as soon as they start, as soon as they start smoking, that's it. That tase them right in the balls. I don't give a fuck.
Nice.
I agree.
Or
Sounds
just
good.
always have somebody in the car, but yeah, I kind of
Mm.
agree with that too.
What if you, if you're tackling them like over and over and over, like usually for me, the way I think of it is if I tackle them like twice and they're still getting up and running away, I would probably just
Beat the
then
ass
I would
or
go for the
tase
tase,
them.
or that's when I would
Fuck
tase.
that,
Like
yeah.
two tackles, then they get tased.
Yep.
First to just get to the point where it's like, all right, just fucking,
Mm-hmm.
just fucking tase them with tackle or beat
I mean,
their
that's
ass.
fair, right? You give them too many opportunities. they'll
Yeah.
probably-
Yeah.
I
And-
never.
Yeah, as long
I
as you're
never like
giving
hitting them.
somewhat of an opportunity. But if they're overstepping it, yeah, just do what you got to do to end it.
Yep.
People can get tased like I don't know 8 times in a row. Like I very rarely beat people into submission. So it was like the other day, you tase someone like 8 times in a row and they're still getting up, and it's like, well, okay, now I've got to do this.
Yeah,
God damn it.
I only tase people twice before I start beating the shit out of them.
That fucking Ziggy?
I don't. Hey, hi, yeah.
Oh, can we get a clap? Ziggy came to the first fucking
Okay, listen.
first meeting. Yeah, congratulations, Ziggy. Congratulations. Slow clap.
He's half LSPD, half DCSO right now.
Good job.
Ziggy, who dressed you this morning?
Listen, I still have to scuff outfits because this is a different fucking. Yeah. Alright. Anyway.
All right. So we're moving on from tasing. Anything else?
Oh, real quick, I guess on a similar topic for the people who have crim characters, what's the general thought of like me chasing you guys on the motorcycle like once you've crashed out? You guys see that as kind of like scummy or no?
Just kick the bike forehead.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think it's. No, I wouldn't think that's scummy.
I don't see it as
No,
scummy
if,
either.
As long as you're not like tasing me off of it, because I feel like that's kind of unfair. Maybe unless I'm on crack or something, but.
Right.
Well, just,
okay.
Yeah, tasing in vehicles and all that shit, just like it to stop. But when you're on foot, if you're on a criminal and you're on foot, like the cops should use every vehicle they have.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind that.
I mean, that's the advantage of being on a motorcycle, right? You have that open
I mean,
cover.
that's one of the big reasons I have it because well, it's not the case. I just assume everyone's gonna coat gaming.
Cops win equals unfair.
Yeah, and you can
Yeah.
go on
Pretty vulnerable on that,
crevices.
too.
Yeah, I mean, I could just turn around and fucking blast it.
Mhm.
Alright.
Kick them.
Kick
All
him.
it takes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Good old NVL bike. Crash more than you catch anything anyway.
Bro, I watched that video of just all your crashes.
Look, that's the old me.
That's so good.
Did somebody make a montage yet?
Am I right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
fuck.
Ziggy. Yeah.
Right.
You need a 10 code after you, Ziggy.
Fuck off.
Didn't you blow up a helicopter inside a tunnel?
Jesus Christ.
That was Reed's fault. Okay.
You drove the helicopter into
Right.
that tunnel.
Listen, it was, yeah, Reed.
We all
It
do
was
our
a-
best work, okay?
Hella funny.
Jesus. Yeah, it was bad.
Oh my god.
All right. Anything else?
Yeah, I guess if people could document the serial number of guns that they take off people when they're arresting them, that would be really nice. Even if it's just a picture. I'm really trying to push dirty guns with this casing report thing we got going, because I think it would be nice if people had a risk to using a gun that they
Comes
don't know
about
where
it for
it came
about 4
from.
minutes.
But that could only really happen, I guess, if people are documenting the
Over
guns
and
they-
over.
they
Is that
take
not
off
power
of in the
gaming, or
reports.
is it
There have
designed like
been
that? No,
multiple
it's a
cases
little
where I
power
find a
gaming
gun in the
after a
trash
certain
locker
point.
that we could link to, attempted murder on an LEO or maybe even like a bigger investigation. But it's not listed in any of the recent reports.
Great,
so
great
it's just
content.
kinda
I wish
shit
you
out of
streamed
luck.
more. Quick question: is there any plans to switch to plain language instead of 10 codes? I think they want to keep it at 10 codes. Sounds good. Does everybody understand that? Even though you get like a guilty plea or whatever, you can at least put the serial number of the gun.
I mean, literally all I would need on my end, at least, is just a screenshot of the cursor over the gun, and like that. I think that would be enough.
I got
Yeah.
something.
What's up?
You know, it'd be nice. I've got the stars now.
I was just going to bring up DNA, and when we use that to convict people, and specifically for what crimes during certain situations. So, for example, picking DNA up at, like, I don't know, a Fleeca bank or something, and then using the DNA to convict for a robbery or a shooting with no other evidence like the gun or casings or things, GSR, things like that. I don't know. There's just been a lot of like odd stuff happening with that, and I just think we need to be careful with what exactly we're pushing, especially if it comes to court and someone's blood being on scene puts them at the scene, but doesn't mean that they shot. So I just think we need to be careful with what charges we push with that.
Yeah, there needs to be a little bit more, maybe some eyewitness account of what occurred or description
more
of the
of an
person.
investigation.
But just simply blood evidence, that doesn't really say that this person robbed a bank or shot somebody.
Yeah, I just want to
Alright.
bring that up because there's been weird stuff. So
Toretto, you got anything else? Aside from being kidnapped 18 times?
No, just the aggression that we take when we are taken hostage or we're used as an exchange. I mean, it's happened with other officers where they just
Nah,
like
just mainly
simply,
you.
well, not completely kidnap. I'm saying like they'll just like sneak up behind us somebody and just put a gun to the back of their head, like a cop, and be like, "Okay, give us our guy." It's happened before, and then we just had to like, I guess, just give up the guy, and then they just drove away. It's like they just held a cop up. I mean, in my eyes, like cops, you do that, like other cops are gonna be pissed, and they're gonna go full throttle at you. I mean, I guess that's the way I would think at it.
And that's the expected response. And I'm hoping that they do expect that. But like I said, I'm going to message a couple people and just let them know that, hey, if this keeps persisting, like this is the level of aggression you're going to get.
It's like pits immediately authorized, things like
I mean,
that.
it's more like, you're expecting to get shot as soon as you start driving away, kind of a thing. Not even just hit.
They like take the
Like
tires
that-
out and then take
That
them out.
car should be riddled with every single officer's bullets the second that the hostage or whatever is
She wants
is
blood.
in danger. That is to be the expected response. We shouldn't be like pointing a teaser at them and be like, ah, shucks, there they go. Nothing we can do about that. What'd you say?
I'm thinking more like, what if, like, when they get thrown into the vehicle, like, what happens when the cop's in the car?
If the cop's in the car, I mean, you can't just fucking mag dump the car, obviously. But, it's just like any other hostage situation. You have to remember, like, there's only, usually in a situation like that, there's only a few ways it's going to end. Once they have a hostage inside the car with them, you need to stop that. They're not supposed to take a hostage with them. Because if they drive off with them and they crash, they still have a hostage. They can just get another car and they just keep driving. Literally, the only way that you're going to be able to get that hostage out of that car safely is if they surrender them, if they crash and ditch them, or if they exchange them to you. Because basically, any other situation is going to end with them either shooting the hostage or you shooting at them when they shoot back at you, right? So
The first thing I would like people to try, and if this doesn't work, is to open some sort of communication lines. Try to get a radio channel to talk, and if they're not willing to do that, then handle business. Because then, if they're not willing to talk, it's just like, what's the point of this then?
Well, the one comment I'll have about that is, I think are we talking about the kidnapping with me?
Yeah, all of them.
Which one?
Okay, so apparently there was like this was like a scenario that was planned out for the day. And the first time they tried it was extremely sloppy. Because they did it in front of another chase, so there was cops already watching them. Then they shot a cop on the way, and then they flipped the car over. So they were pretty sloppy. And then the second time, obviously, was really
It was about being
clean.
forced
They
to go
set up
after
a
you.
traffic stop, and then they took me from that, and I didn't get caught. So the first time, I mean, I can't really imagine them being too mad when they kept screwing things up themselves. So you can't be mad at the cops when they're the ones screwing up, and then we take advantage of their, like, are we supposed to just let them like get away with when they, like,
That's why I
flip their cars
say
over and stuff?
try to open up lines of communication. So if you're Toretti, the hostage, try to coordinate them, talking to the rest of the police so they can get their voice heard or whatever. Okay, Toretti?
Well, there was a plan. There was like a scenario. It had nothing to do with like.
I get.
the
I
cops,
see what
so
you're saying. They
I'm
had
not
this
fine.
long, elaborate plan, but what do we know?
Well, that's exactly my point. So like when they were kind of mad about it, it's like, how were they supposed to know that this was like a planned out scenario that's been like, quote unquote, scripted or something? Like, how are they supposed to know? And they had no line.
So-
The only line was that they shot a cop on the way. So
I mean, do you guys
Obviously
agree?
it's-
Like, if we can establish some sort of communication early on, that it would prevent anything being shitty and salty later?
No.
No.
You don't think so?
Not at all. No,
No, because like
it's
how,
happened
like in
past.
that scenario, how would that line of communication? I was mildly involved in that, and I've seen some things from other angles. I mean, the thing is, there is no way to know what the intention is long term. I mean, I'm actually
and I agree
here in that. Like, how would we have even added that line of communication when we're in the middle of what appears to be Toretti's gonna get murdered?
I 100% agree, and I know it's a little strange to I don't know, try to get communication so that they can let us know what they're planning on doing, so we can at least try to go along with it. Because if there's no communication and we're just given no, you're not 100%. What you were given was complete crap, and you had to deal with the crap, and you dealt with it the way that you thought was
what
best.
I mean by that is ultimately the intention was to shoot him up. So like it was very blatantly obvious. So like, I mean, we could have completely played dumb and be like, oh, he may not die, even though in every clue and everything points at him being dead.
I mean, if they wanted a scenario, they wouldn't have tried to sign me off duty, right? If they want something to do with the cops or whatever, they wouldn't have signed me off duty, because then it would come with a standoff, and then there would be communication. But because they were trying to sign me off duty, they were trying to completely cut out the police altogether. So, yeah. I mean, and I tried, I was like, what is this? And they go, you'll find out soon enough. So that's all I was told.
So okay. I've killed plenty of cops on my other characters. And it's a pretty well-known fact that if you're gonna try to kill a cop, you have to really be very sneaky. Sneaky enough to grab them when they least expect it, and then quickly get them signed off before anyone notices. And if you can't pull it off and you get wrecked, I mean, it's just that's how.
I agree. It is what it is.
That's exactly why. Yeah, the first time that was exactly my thoughts on it. They screwed up. We're not supposed to just keep being like, oh darn, oops. You know.
I'm just brainstorming on how we could maybe help the situation. If we could,
I think the only way to just do it better, Forehead. Like, I mean, there's like a certain level of like, you know, it's very easy to do a lot of fucked up shit as a criminal.
Oh,
I mean, I could tell you a number of scenarios that I've been involved in. It's just you got to think about how you're gonna do it. I mean, killing a cop is so, like it's so.
What I'm trying to say is like if we can get like a radio channel already established, and he's like, hey,
outside of the city.
This is scuffed.
We don't
Can you give us a
when
second, somewhat
it takes a
in
while,
code? Then we can be like,
and
okay,
so
let's give them a second to reset. Because we've done that for people before, right?
Out in the open with
like this shit is fucked up. It's out of our control. Can you give us a second? So that's what I'm trying to say.
Like 6 times and no one noticed.
But if the other person is not willing to be to establish that communication, then yeah, there's nothing we can do.
Okay, but the point
is, just shoot him up. So why not shoot him up instead of kidnapping, force him off duty? Yeah, that makes sense.
Kidnap someone, it wouldn't be in front of Mission Row PD, right? Like if you happen to get away with it, you know, you rolled the dice and you got lucky.
2 different things. Yeah, I think I am.
Yeah, there's
so I think I'm probably referring to something else. What I'm saying is, like, if something scuffed happens on their end and they're trying to do this and they have no way of telling us, hey, this is scuffed, can you give us a second? That's where I'm saying maybe we should have like that lines of communication so they can tell us that. But if their intentions was just to take Treddy and just fucking kill him, then yeah.
I don't. It depends which scenario.
Yeah, I think I'm probably referring to something else.
I mean,
just
the situation we're talking about, they were scooped
if
up.
things are scuffed, I'm saying
murdered.
yeah.
Like that was the whole reason.
Yeah, that's true. That's what OC is for.
Somewhere, you know, there was no scuff involved. It was just picked up in front of a bunch of police officers and driven off to be murdered.
Yeah, and then the second time was like super clean. They did it in 10 or 15 minutes. It was like super clean. So, I mean, if we wanted to prevent it more, I think checking out the map and watching the GPSs, if there's like a lone guy going up into Sandy, you know.
Radio checks are always important. Like I got snatched. I got picked up in the middle of a 1080, so I couldn't call out where I was going.
How'd you get picked up in a 1080?
Like 20-30 minutes, I was stuck.
I feel like a lot of these cops just like intentionally let themselves get kidnapped, dude.
At any point, like, investigation was ended. Like, at no point did anyone, welfare check.
X-Ready, you've been
And,
kidnapped
in the
18,000
end, they
times.
chickened out and
Why
just
is this
left me in the
happening?
middle of the road up a ponytail, which I thought that was really cool. They were completely unmasked and they were like, "No, we can't do this. We can't kill a cop. We can't kill a cop." And they just left me.
X-Ready
Then
needs to have
the
a
911 din.
kidnap counter.
Nothing. And
How do you think the trend of being signed off duty started? I have no idea.
Just do a welfare check anytime someone goes north on Los Santos Freeway.
Repairing or
we
such?
should be doing welfare checks anyway, because sometimes you don't hear from anyone.
I mean, rolling with the
on
RP is
radio
inherently
for quite
bad,
some
but
time.
maybe it's too often.
Well, I think
Yeah, I don't mind if
a lot of
it's
people just get really involved in what they're doing.
if it's really good
and,
shit and
as a
it's completely
sergeant,
off guard. But I
my
feel
job
like
is to make sure that people stay safe.
some of these
and,
people,
I watch people and I make sure
they
that
could probably
they're
see this shit
not being
coming like
kidnapped or
100
whatever,
miles
right?
away.
'Cause that's my job. But a lot of people,
Like I
that's
said,
not their job.
kidnapping a
Their job is
cop
to go there
and
and
like
play the
doing that
cops
shit,
and
it
have
should
some
be
fun
hard. It
and have a
shouldn't
good
be,
time.
oh
And,
no, oh
we
you
can't-
got me.
I
oh.
want people to care about each other, and I want them
I
to
don't
be
know.
double checking, but sometimes it's not going to happen.
Well, I mean,
So-
just saying welfare check over the radio, it doesn't happen all the time.
Sure,
Dallas
I
does it
agree.
as dispatch. It's
What I'm trying to say is, there just needs to be a little presence of mind and think about your other officers outside of just, what you're doing.
People are not supposed to
one's
force
perfect and
cops
there's
off
always gonna
duty.
be slips in
Man,
the cracks. But
that argument's been going on forever.
I need the people to try, at least to try to give a shit about your other officers and their well-being. At least pretend you care. Because even out of character, I know most people don't actually give a shit if someone gets hurt. Like, just try and pretend.
Maybe heard about 15% of what you said, Angel. I'm sorry, but yeah, if a cop gets kidnapped or hurt or whatever, like that ends everything else for the rest of the city. We're gonna go look for the cop.
May I say something?
Yes.
I know it's a little bit off topic, but I don't know. I've seen some cops trash talk, and by all means, trash talk all you want, and there's a time and place for it. But I feel like sometimes we instigate the criminals, and we wonder why we get magnum and attacked all the time. So just know you're representing a whole PD.
But should talking shit equal mag dump the PD?
No, but we got crazy criminals in Los Santos. It's how people are. Like, you talk shit to them, they pop their gun and mag dump you. Is it fair? Is it right? No, but it's how people operate nowadays.
So are we gonna hold that standard for the entire city?
So, I'm
No.
sorry to interject here, but whose statement references that?
That's so fucking stupid. That is a stupid. I feel like that's a dumb. That's a dumb argument.
That was announced recently. I think it's been 3 weeks now in regards to stepping up roleplay. Playing a criminal that's gonna go just shoot someone over, and it depends what it is, right? Like if it's an ongoing thing, right, and then that transpires, okay, sure. But if it's a consistent thing, I think that individual needs to think about what kind of roleplay they're bringing to the server.
I agree.
You can be a badass criminal all you want, but like if the de facto is someone talks shit and you're just gonna spray him down.
Yeah, but a cop
you have
got
to
on
ask
his
like
way
where is
talking
the
shit.
scenario headed exactly, and what is
I
the,
agree.
like are you playing like it's just lazy.
No. I get what you're saying, Brian and Trooper Andrews, but a cop coming on this way and instigating the problem and calling somebody a pussy or a bitch right away for no reason, that's gonna get somebody riled up, right? That's not our job. Our job is to de-escalate things.
Deal with it in another way, though.
I'm just saying that person gets blamed, but the whole entire PD is out front, right? So that person might act that way, but they're representing the whole PD as a result, right?
So then the other side is representing the whole entire crim side. That's the standard of if somebody talks shit to me and I say you're a pussy, that I deserve to get shot.
Well, there was a situation, I don't know if this is what you're referencing, where the criminals wanted to break out one of their friends and they decided to leave it, and then someone on the radio called them a pussy or something, and it led to like a I think I was down. By the time I arrived on scene, I was instantly gunned down. I was in the middle of something else, but 78's got called. I was down for a good like hour and a half, 2 hours. After like an hour and a half, I got vultured, and then that was
No,
it.
but you're a professional paid to do your job. I agree, but does that person deserve to get shot? Like, does that make sense? Does that make sense? Oh, he called me a pussy. Let's go fucking shoot him. Still leave a note outside of PD.
Here? I mean, that's very valid.
You wanted to smoke. I mean,
like I'm telling you, there's other ways of dealing with that.
I mean, it was very slow. So I figured, step it up to kind of keep keep things.
I didn't
you know,
mind it.
Try to fill the time a bit, but
I figured you were bored, and then we were like,
no, it was like,
That's not what
oh,
he's
yeah, you
saying.
guys just gonna leave.
I
her here
understand
kind of
what he's
thing?
saying,
And,
that
I
he's
didn't expect
we
it to be
represent
obviously
the
you don't know
entire
how long
PD.
it's
I
gonna-
understand there's a
Oh, yeah.
professionalism
time, but
It's 'cause,
issue,
in those sort of
but
situations, it
he's
takes
making
up
a different
all
argument
of
and
our
saying that,
resources, and again, like,
you know,
it doesn't matter what
talking
role
shit
play
to
we're
a
doing at
crim,
that time,
it,
like,
you know,
we
it's our
break
fault that we get
responsibilities. That's what
shot.
we
When
do.
I
That's
don't
why we
even
signed up to
that logic
do
is
this on the
stupid. That doesn't
server.
make any sense.
Just to roll back to what Sab's saying, because I think a lot of us talk shit to criminals, but it's received fine on the other end. Is there a particular situation, individual you're referencing?
Not particularly, but I'm just saying. Okay, Toretti does that
my
at times.
Twitter?
I see you on Twitter talking a lot of trash, and that's fine.
Yeah,
You
I'm
can
bad.
talk trash back and forth, but I feel like there's a time and a place for it. You know, it can't be just like you're trying to like get under somebody's skin, and as a result, you get shut up for it.
I think what you're saying, and tell me if I'm wrong here, is that you're talking about when it's like obviously clear when a cop is instigating them to do something.
Right, exactly.
Okay. Because I think shit talk banter is pretty healthy, to be honest. But
Yeah,
if
I
it's
like how
clear
people
that the
speak to it.
other side is not receptive to it, I mean, I think this is a broader thing of like trying to.
What about letting cops respond
make
after
sure
15,
that
20
you
minutes so they can
understand
get back
the
to RPing in the city?
and whether
That's
they're
been
enjoying
discussed,
what
and
you're
we've
doing.
decided it's
I think
upon the cop to
sometimes
do
like
it.
you're
They
just
want it.
trying to get them to do something
Right,
because
exactly.
you can. That's like a separate. That's bad, right? And that I would agree with.
So, do you have a situation of that happening?
Not with me particularly, but I've seen it around. I mean, I don't remember exactly like a time and a place, but I've seen cops on a traffic stop, for example, try to escalate as a result, resulting in a lot of banter back and forth, and then that cop getting shot in that traffic stop as a result. Is it fair? No. But
I
I'm
think
just saying,
there's a
like,
lot of problems with traffic stops and what you're talking about, like escalating shit. So there is one side to that, but then there's the other side of, hey, when I ask you to do something, like the other side is just like, why? Why do I need to do this? Why do I need to get out? Why do I need to give you my stuff? Why? I didn't do this. Why? So I think there's two parts to that rather than just a person just talking shit and escalating it.
No, I got a perfect example. Basically, when Randy escaped, it was a little slow that day. I think I was the only one on patrol, and there was nothing really going on because all the cops were busy dealing with a situation. So he started tweeting, bragging about how he was free. So I tweeted back at him saying, you left all your bros down there. And then Buddha didn't like that, and I think his mindset is, don't fuck with us. I guess we're criminals. I think that's what his attitude is. Like, don't come talking shit because we're criminals and you're a cop or something. And Randy came back and got me, which was fine. That's kind of what I wanted, and it was kind of the end. I think there was V and Randy, and then Buddha also did the same thing, and basically was saying, don't fuck with us. It was kind of like a statement, and they shot Frank instead of me one time because I was already down.
I think maybe it's because it was over Twitter. I guess we still have to consider we have to be somewhat professional if you're on duty on Twitter, shit talking criminals. Publicly.
I was there for that one, Freddy, too.
So my question is, they say don't fuck with us. Are we, when we respond to a scene and we see that it's Buddha, are we supposed to leave and just be like, oh shit, it's Buddha, we're scared, we can't fuck with them?
No, I think he means via Twitter.
No,
that's,
don't talk
don't
shit
instigate
to us
on Twitter. Yeah,
you don't know who you're messing with.
I mean, I guess
I still don't understand this logic.
Professional standpoint as well. We wouldn't be.
It's still, you're talking
let's
shit
say
on
we're
Twitter, I'm
meeting
gonna
with
shoot you.
another
That's
streamer,
still
wouldn't
the
publicly
equation that I'm
say
seeing
shit
here.
on Twitter, kind of deal. You got an image to uphold as a member of the force.
I feel like we need to move on from this conversation unless we can be a little bit more concrete in what we're saying. This is getting a little weird, champ, for me.
Yeah, I'd agree.
All right.
Basically, talk shit, get hit. Is that? though.
Yeah,
Yeah, basically.
I mean, I go. What this comes down to is like read the room, and if you suck at it, we'll get better. You know what I mean?
Bro.
It's the same about
Like, I
what's
mean, at
said,
the end
not
of the
what's
day,
done.
look,
With Buddha,
regardless of whether it's
it's a
cops
stay
first
in
crims or
character
crime first
thing.
crims,
Cops couldn't
you know,
wouldn't do
understanding
something
whether
like that
what the role
IRL,
play that
and
you're
Buddha
about
wants
to
cops to act
provide
like a
is gonna
police
be
force nor a
receptive in some
Pega
way
squad. But then
is
when we act like a
important,
police force, he
and
gets
it's a
mad
trait
that
that's
we're
picked up
we're
over
being
time,
too much
and
of a cops.
sometimes things
So I
get
don't-
misread, and
I get what he's
you know,
saying, but
tempers rise. You know, you just take a step back in those moments and say, you know, I'll be better next time. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to. Not every scenario is always going to play out the right way. Sometimes you talk shit, the other side loves it, and there's a nice little fun interaction that who knows where it ends. And sometimes it's not perceived well, and you know, shit happens.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any like formula we can come up
I
with.
think a
here
lot of
that will
criminals want the
resolve
cops
any of
just to be
that.
predictable.
But if there's somebody that's like very much like
And just-
constantly instigating, and it's clear that the other side
I don't
is
know, just
not
little
perceiving it
pawns
well,
in their
and it's not
chessboard,
within
I
their,
guess.
like cop jurisdiction to be doing so, well then that individual should probably back off, and maybe that's
They just
when
made an avenue,
leadership
yeah.
pulls in and you know needs to talk to him. OSC.
If you're getting mad
I mean,
about
it's all
RP
just
shit
kind
talk,
of
you need to take a
de-escalate
break.
things
Yeah, I feel
anyway,
like that's
so-
an out of character action that's coming in. That's why people are shooting over just shit talking. That's completely OC action. It's like you want to play this mentally insane person. Would a mentally insane person still be on the street after doing mentally insane shit? So it goes both ways. All right. Anything else? All right. So a few things from like the command and high command, what we've been chatting about. Investigations. I don't know if you guys read the announcements that come out in the Discord email. But if you have an investigation, there is a format that's just supposed to submit to a sergeant. It'll be reviewed and then posted in the investigations block.
Actually, I did have a question about that because I got in trouble for not contacting a sergeant despite working with the sheriff at that time because it was just the time of day it was. Like there weren't any sergeants available. Like we put
You can still email it because it does need to be
Okay, so
posted
it's
and
just-
does need to be recognized.
Yeah, because again with my current situation, so I don't have all my email stuff all set up. So everything I have to do, everything I'm working on is in the MDT right now. But I'm okay.
All good.
Oh, one thing I wanted to mention. I've seen BCSO people using the motorcycle. I don't know why that's been happening, but it's a LSPD vehicle. LSPD don't pull out the truck, so BCSO shouldn't be pulling out the bicycle unless we hear otherwise. We need to use the vehicles for our departments.
True. Use the vehicle you're assigned to use in SOPs. What the fuck?
Someone's just whispering a little French, trooper. Nothing to see here. Yeah.
Wait, was that Tom?
I don't think it's French. I don't think it's French.
Pretty sure it's Swedish.
Oh god.
Yep.
What else from command? Anything else from command? Angel or Snow?
I might have
McLean?
had something. Let me double check my things. Make sure. Anyone else wants to go
Columbo,
first?
are you in here?
Yeah, ma'am.
The fuck is going on with your hair?
What do you mean?
Listen, he's having the same problem.
Don't
I'm
fuck.
having.
You
do
know what,
have
Tony? Why don't you
something.
fucking take it on the main server, huh?
I-
Let's
What
see
the
how you do.
fuck?
Okay.
Oh, here we go again.
Jesus.
I don't know why he's been with this attitude lately.
Hey, I
all the
actually have a
time.
couple of things. I
You look like a
wanted to
scav.
Oh shit. What up, scab
Wow,
boy?
okay.
I mean, does that mean he's gonna get shot first in any situation? That's
Means
Most
I'll
likely.
fucking one tap you with tier 5 armor on.
Yeah, right.
Listen, the only way someone is getting shot if you're in squads with Daryl. You're gonna
Damn, you just said you
killed.
suck, Daryl.
And Daryl, he's calling you out, bro.
Are you
guys finished? Are you guys finished?
What happened to your face?
I like killing Swedes.
Brian, listen. I do have a couple things to everyone here, okay? First one, I have to go over. We should not be stealing civilians' vehicles and then using them as rolling cover in shootouts. I don't know why that needs to be said. You have your own vehicle. Use your own vehicle. Don't steal someone else's car to use unless it's incredibly, truly desperate. Number two, again, make sure and emphasize that you're using the correct weapons for scenarios. Don't just roll up and use an AR because you hear lots of gunshots in the area. If you're not sure, just ask. Okay,
Yeah,
that's all
please
that I have.
please confirm that, because that's
Wait,
one thing
repeat the
that's
last part, Angel.
that starts a lot of assault. Just use the correct gun. If it's all pistols, use pistol. If there's class 2s, then pull out your AR or whatever.
Yeah, don't just assume. If you hear class 2 fire, then go for it. But you know.
Here's a question I pose to you guys and what you guys think about this. What if one person has a class 2 and the rest have pistols?
Class 1 still. We outnumber them.
Is it an AK?
I think it's
or an
relatively
AP?
situational, you know. Depends
I
on
think
the
if
guns
it's the
and how many
jewelry
officers.
store, you still use pistols.
Shotgun.
I mean, we can call out when the class 2's down if we know there's only one.
Sure.
And then de-escalate.
Class 2 down. Class 2 down. Move it.
Yeah.
Move it, boys.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
I don't know, I'm just, you know, if we want the formula.
That's the number one salt producer right there. So just make sure we are very clear on what weapon we're supposed to be using.
I guess the only thing is, like, if someone from, like, the Crim group has a class 2, aren't they kind of expecting, like, our response to be class 2s anyways? Like, are they expecting us to use pistols against, you know, their one guy with a AP?
Nah, usually I'm like, God damn it, this guy has a fucking AP. Now I'm gonna get shot by a goddamn AR.
That's the same
It's
mentality.
kind of expected. Yeah, it's kind of expected. I try to tell them to, like, dude, just fucking use a heavy, but sometimes, you know, people don't have them, or it happens.
Yeah, I don't think we need to tie our hands. If they have a class 2, then use class
Let's not
2.
put it on the cops to analyze.
So you don't have to.
Unfortunately, they always make the argument. This is a
What if
constant
we let
argument
one
here.
police officer have a class 2, everybody has pistols.
It's-
That's reading the room pretty good, right?
I think that's going to be too difficult to sort out. And again, leaving things simple with little room for error is the best. So if there's a class 2 present from the criminal side, you should be able to use your class 2, but you don't have to. That's going to be your discretion. I think is what we should leave it at.
That sounds good. Okay. So speaking of SOPs earlier, and I've been talking to small groups about this. Everybody aware that there's going to be some sort of repercussions and whatnots coming down?
Yep.
Like strikes?
Strikes, suspensions, terminations. Why you guys get so silent?
Serious season, right?
No, I don't know.
Spooky.
Please, let's not do the serious season meme. I don't like that.
It's
not do that.
has nothing to do with serious. I'll go over it right now. The list is still being finalized. The SOPs are being completely redone. Metzger has started on it. He's halfway through it, and once he's done, I'll make an announcement so everybody can read it and brush up on everything and be clear on everything, so they're not surprised when you're hit with something. Let me get my handy dandy list out real quick and then we'll go over it. All right, so pretty much there's going to be 3 separate sections in how this works. There is OOC issues that we can deal with, and we can pretty much meta any type of video and seeing it happened. There's in-character issues that you'll have a chance to, like, defend yourself. You can get a lawyer, blah blah blah, and I'll explain that later. And then there's issues that a command member can see on the spot and just issue a strike point after speaking with high command about it, and just issue it straight on the spot with no sort of reasoning behind it. That makes sense. So the OOC issues, we've come up with 4. There's improper use of police equipment, vehicles, and uniform. This is just blatant. You put on the wrong fucking uniform, you drive around in the wrong car. There are 2 people who are exempt from this, but you put on the wrong uniform, you drive around in the wrong car, you pull out the wrong AR and shit like that just to be an asshole. You're gonna get some sort of repercussion for that. The use of narcotics or controlled substance during active situations. This is not using weed to, you know, de-stress, but using the weed for armor or using oxy to stop bleeding. We shouldn't be doing that. We do have tools to stop our bleeding and to armor up.
Can we be eating donuts, churros, these types of items?
Yes, you can use those items. You can't use drugs.
Got it.
That's crim shit. We got our own shit.
Can IFAX be dropped down in price then? Because it takes 2, right, to even use one.
I mean,
and they're
that's just a
really
bug
expensive.
that needs to be fixed.
Nice one, nice.
Yeah, but even then, it's like $500.
It's been reported 3 months
Not an
ago.
excuse to use drugs in real life.
I just want to let you guys know that IFACs are fixed. We're just waiting for the sloth man to.
Okay, but what about the price? Still, it's $500 just for
It's-
one.
Make a lot of money, huh?
Listen, dude, we have like you got like 20 grand on you probably. Who gives a shit?
It's probably just you don't have the funds on you when you're at the armory, maybe.
Yeah,
We have an
like
ATM
everything
in
else
City.
anyway.
There's an ATM.
Amazing.
The third and
guess
the
you-
most. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. Keep.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna shit talk anyways. Don't
Oh
worry.
yeah, I like to hear it.
I guess people are saving up for the fucking hentai vehicles. Is that it? Is that what you don't want to buy?
My man, my
Yeah,
man.
I think it's those that are playing off duty is the idea.
C sharp, by the way. C sharp over here, by the way. Anyway, so the third and most aggravating one, and it's going to be heavily enforced, is the not abiding by the cop rule, the 5 cop limit. There's going to be no exceptions, unfortunately. A week ago or 2 weeks ago, there was 2 cops on duty and like 11 alts in the city.
Okay, so to clarify, 5 police, and that includes solo cadets, the number 5.
I'm going to clarify if the cadet will count towards that.
Thank you.
But yeah, 5. If there's 5 on, you're good. If there's less than 5 on and you notice that there's 5 on, you continue to do your cousin's shit, then that's a little fucked up.
From what I understand, the 500s count as a separate 2-man group, and then the 600s count towards the full group.
Yeah, if a cadet is solo, then they should be good. If they're forced to ride with somebody, then yeah, they don't count as anything.
Thank you, sir.
Could you catch this up? I think every cadet is solo now, right?
No.
No, C sharp over there still rolling with somebody.
Okay, sure.
And then
Sorry, I haven't been.
the other, what's his
as
name?
active as
Bader,
some of
Batter, Gator,
Rayer or
Who?
Raider.
Raider.
Australian
Raider or
fuck.
Raider or something like that.
Yeah, the other dude. He's still a ride along cadet.
Okay.
Trader.
Thank you.
I think Resnick is too.
Yeah. So we got 3. And I'll work. I'm working at getting some more cops, so this shouldn't be an issue. But you guys got to do your parts for now until we can bring on some more cops. Unfortunately, hiring cops is not going to be the same as it used to be. I got to do a little bit of research before I allow our family to grow. That makes sense.
Blossom.
And then the 4th and final one, because this is shitty. A lot of people spend a lot of time writing these reports. If you tamper with a police report, delete it, do dumb shit with it, and you're an asshole.
Yeah.
Thank you.
People actually do that.
Yes.
Jesus, what the fuck? What?
Hey, who deleted the what?
We ain't gonna say any names or anything like that, but there's only 2 things on that list that will equal to termination, and that's the not abiding by the cop limit and tampering with the police reports. That's a repeat offense, so if it's the first time, it's a suspension. After that, it's termination.
Brian, jump.
That's
What?
the only thing, so that's a pretty short list.
You need to jump.
That's
Oh,
not.
jump.
That's the one that can be meted. That's the shit we can look at.
Yeah,
streams
that's
or
the
whatever to
first
do.
part of this is meted shit.
Okay, all right, thanks for.
Yeah, that'll be stuff that like you'll probably have to like speak with like people in TeamSpeak on out off stream and stuff like that for you.
I mean, that
that's
makes
the
sense,
serious
yeah.
stuff, you know.
And I know how a lot of people think, because all you guys are fucking assholes.
True.
if you guys are gonna use the suspension system to put your cop on suspension so you can go play your cousin, you're a fucking asshole. You're gonna get terminated. So misuse of this system equals termination.
Yeah, you can just go on leave, right? I mean, if you really want to do something like that, right? Couldn't you just communicate that?
It's got to be a good. I mean, if you played cop for like fucking 3 months straight or whatever, and you need a break, then we'll make exceptions for that. But like if you haven't, yeah, misuse of that shit, like fucking Bass over here. Yeah, that's the same repercussion.
Well, I play the game at high risk, okay? Not my fault.
Oh shit.
All right, so now to the in-character stuff where it's going to bring about some interesting roleplay. So the way that I'm imagining this happen, High Command will act as internal affairs, right? So if say a citizen makes a complaint against Toretti for being unprofessional, one of our sergeants will take the complaint. They'll notify us of the complaint, and then we'll reach out to Toretti and be like, hey, you have this complaint pending. We'll give you a week to maybe get a lawyer or some sort of representation or whatever, and we'll have this meeting. All right? And then we'll have this meeting, and you'll have your chance to say your piece, fight your case, whatever you have, any witnesses, blah, 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 blah. And if it makes sense and it sounds good, and, you know, we figure there was any type of misconduct, then you'll be clear of the allegation. If not, you're going to take a strike point. So those things that cannot be meted and only discovered in character is unlawful and excessive use of force, mishandling of a hostage, not going to court when subpoenaed, not professionalism with the public, instant use of a taser, which I gotta clarify a little bit more, improper pit maneuver, not that one either. Yeah, that's pretty much it on that one. So unlawful excessive force, mishandling of a hostage, not going to court when subpoenaed, not responding to, or no, professionalism with the public is the ones that you will have a chance to pretty much combat. Yes, ma'am.
I have a court case in 10 minutes, so yeah, I should probably go.
Yeah, you should probably get there, or I'm gonna
Am
strike
I
you.
allowed to fly?
I guess. Go ahead.
Oh, it's this county? Nice, nice.
Nice, dude.
All right, so the third one is the ones that a supervisor can discover. They'll bring it up to high command and we'll review it or whatever. And those are instant use of a taser, improper driving when not responding to an emergency call, improper pit, proper use of spike strips, poor radio comms, shit like that. All right. Any questions, comments, concerns?
How's high command become aware of instances like, let's say an immediate takes place between somebody and a crim? Like, how would high command become aware of that?
So, and I'm probably gonna have to like ask Coop to make this announcement or something like that. But whoever wants to make a complaint against an officer, they can come into Mission Row, request a commanding officer or whatever. The sergeant will take the complaint, write it up, and send it to high command, and then we'll review it, and we'll come into the city and try to gather our intel or whatever on if this in fact happened or not. We'll notify the person or the subject that they're under, you know, review for a complaint or whatever, and give them a date that we can all meet and discuss it.
Okay, cool. I was just wanting to make sure that it's gonna get all role played. That's cool.
Yes. So the in-character stuff is not fireable. It can lead up to a suspension. They equal strike points or whatever. If you get 30 max strike points in a month, within a month's period, it equals 1 day suspension. Make sense?
Yes.
Anybody have any problems, questions, concerns?
Do strikes go away after 30 days?
Yes, so 30 days from the issuance of the strike, it goes away.
They expire. Okay.
Hello.
Cool. 30's a lot more than I expected. TBH.
I mean, if you played your cop more, it would.
So, is it only 1 day suspension after 30 points? What happens the next month? The same thing.
We haven't gotten that far, so I'll figure out if it's like a common reoccurring thing, if it needs to increase in suspension days or any sort of other repercussions, but it's not fireable. If
So
it's
case by case kind of thing.
Let's say you keep adding on within the same month, then it'll probably increase. Like if you got 1 day suspension, right, and you served your day, but it's still in the same month, and more shit keeps compiling, we'll probably make it like a 2 day.
I'd imagine that would, if people are looking for like promos and stuff, that kind of stuff would affect it.
Say it again?
Like say people are looking to get promoted or, you know, cert or stuff like that. Would it be the in-game or out-of-game that would more affect it?
I'll have to talk about that if it's going to affect. I mean, because some of you guys do like really good police work, and then we'll take Jordan or Kyle, for instance, just a little mouthy. Like, I don't feel like that it should affect your ability to advance.
Oh, cool. All right.
Any problems from anybody? Zero?
No. I think it's pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
Does everybody agree? It's pretty reasonable?
Yeah, very reasonable.
Very
Not bad.
Yeah, everything I have, I'd like to bring up in command channels instead.
All right. So this list, I think after we're done training, I'm gonna just hammer out this list and meet with everybody so we can get it finalized and then pushed out to the entire department. So just be on the lookout for that. All right. All right. Anybody have any other concerns they need to bring up before we get to some training?
Oh shit.
Jesus Christ.
There we go.
Oh, one more thing, Andrews. You know we have the PD phone list, right?
Yeah.
Copper work on a new list for missing PD weapons, so it's in the same sheet, the same spreadsheet, just different tab.
Oh, nice.
You lose
Okay.
your weapon listed there, please, because there's ongoing investigation regarding that.
Apparently there's a way to link our Discordian emails to these documents so that they can only be seen by whoever is in our family. So if we can get that done, that'd be awesome. I think one of the big issues with some of these documents is they get linked on our eyes and they get fucked with.
Medi.
I have a goddamn concern.
What's that?
You leaked our casings like a couple days ago.
So
Hell yeah.
C sharp, is that something that can be done?
That's true.
I can remove him again if you want to.
Hey, what?
We don't want you to remove him. Is there a way to link our Discord to these documents that we create?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, C sharp. You're the coder.
What the fuck?
I'm pretty sure you can. I always linked something about it. It's some of Google's API allowing for, like.
I mean, why don't we
group
just have like a thing where we put all our email addresses in, so anytime we create a document, just copy and paste that into the accept.
That we can do. We can actually do that.
Yes.
I just feel like, you know, with,
Columbo,
like,
you want to get
additions
that
and
started?
removals.
Let's do this. And please, nobody link this on screen because we don't want anybody's emails going out there if they don't want it.
True. I don't want gay porn on my email. Thank you.
Oh, really? I seem to remember a clip of you. I seem to remember a clip of you. Yeah. My man's tried to copy and paste something in his MDT and copy and pasted cream pie. Greatest fucking thing ever.
I have a question real quick.
Go ahead, Jordan.
What has all been talked about? I'm just now getting here.
All right. Well.
Oh, all right, bud. Real mature, real fucking mature.
Okay, I was actually being serious. Well, sorry, someone had to go police the fucking
right.
city.
Hold on, I'll talk to you on the side real quick.
Another session, and then I
He
written down.
ain't gonna go to that shit.
Well, there's a chance.
There is a chance.
Anyway, so what training points do we want to concentrate on today?
Kidnappings.
Seriously?
Yeah, sure. Let's train on cop. Yeah, sure. Okay.
From a crim and a cop side, I think choke points is something that we should focus on, or like have it as like something knowledgeable. It's like we oftentimes are too afraid to push in when it comes to our pistol versus the heavy pistol, ours is way better, like for close range. So if we push in together as a unit, you know, we're going to essentially just dumpster crims if we get up in their face with a pistol fight.
Okay, so choke points. Do you have any choke points in mind?
So yeah, like the observatory is one that's typically like held down really hard. There's other places as well. Just off the top of my head, like there's like, say for an example, like if there was something that happened to Tequila La or whatever, you know, like pushing through a door and getting into an area where people are gonna be at is
okay.
Yeah, like something that I've noticed that, like, you know, we typically don't rush into. I mean, not that we should rush into it, but you know what I mean. Like, if we stack up, then obviously we're going to like, sure, maybe the first person will eat a couple of shots, but if they roll, then the majority of those shots are gonna, you know, miss.
Okay. Any other training issues you guys want to try to hammer out?
I think
I did have a question real quick.
Hold on, let Mac. What were you gonna say?
Yeah, I was thinking like secure and transport. Secure and transport is probably important.
Especially if we're gonna be transporting people to prison now, like a lot more often.
So okay, that sounds like two different things. Are you talking about transporting from Mission Row to Bolingbroke, or are you talking about
like
during an active
on-scene
situation?
Securing, yeah, active secure, and then transporting out.
That's a good one. All right, anything else?
Prison transport too. Get
Prison
people
transport.
acclimated with it, and then maybe people would feel more comfortable doing it with you know, less people, 5 on duty or whatever.
Okay.
You could do like prison transport, like focus on guarding it. I think I saw one like not that long ago that was really not guarded. I can't remember exactly though.
All right.
We could go for that.
All right, let me get Medi, McLean, Angel, and Saab as the crims on this one.
Okay.
All right.
Get ready as hostage.
All right, I'm gonna go fuck myself.
No, come here. I'm gonna fill you in, asshole.
I'm gonna go fuck myself. Yes.
Come here.
I sent you a message too.
Come here, Steel.
Just watch a VOD on like 2x speed.
Okay, yeah, I'll just go watch a VOD.
Stop being an asshole.
Should have been on time. You would have made your court case.
True. Fuck the server. We should all be
Shut up. All right, what was your question?
Okay. What is happening with the MDT? I would like to have fun again.
What do you mean? The points?
Yeah, I would like to have fun role playing as a cop again. What is happening with the MDT?
Unfortunately, the DOJ and the admins have decided that until they fix that shit, that we can't hold anybody liable for that.
Okay, if I give someone a DUI, I am 100% gonna hold them liable.
That's fine. Just put in the notes section that you took their license away for a DUI.
Okay. Will it ever be fixed?
I think Ghosty is working on it.
When the new MPT comes in.
Okay, so you think it's being worked on?
No, the last he said about it is he is going to try to fix it. Apparently, he didn't know about it.
Okay. You didn't? Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Fantastic.
Calm down, son.
No, it's fine. I'm calm. I've never been more calm.
All right, let me run you through this. The most important part of the meeting is the accountability list.
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm picking it.
Yeah, that
No.
Okay.
What? We got some problems with it?
I haven't even heard it yet. What? How can I have
I
problems with it if
feel like
haven't
you're gonna say something already.
heard it? I will absolutely say something if I have an issue with
You're
it.
gonna
but I
like
haven't-
it.
Okay, lay it on me.
All right. So there's 3 separate sections that you can be held
Columbo, you need guns.
accountable for, be punished for. Okay.
All right, I'll grab you something. We're in the.
Hold on.
I'll head down to Mission Row PD in a bit.
Hey, real quick, so I could get out of your hair. I'm kind of going to be frequently AFK here back and forth. So instead
That's
of
fine.
training with you guys, can I just practice my bridge run so I can get flight certified?
That's fine. Go ahead.
All right, thank you.
To do that. Anyways.
All right. So section 1 is OC issues. And this is improper use of police equipment, vehicles, or uniform. Like none of these things that you do. So relax.
Yep. Yeah, I know.
So the first one.
I do have someone modeling new shit for me.
No, that's not even an issue because you're wearing the wrong color doesn't mean anything. That's out of your hands completely.
I'm just letting you know. That's all.
Can you calm down for a second before I punch you in the face?
So fucking calm.
Are you drunk?
No.
You need to be.
I've had 1 cup of coffee. You're right. I'll get after that. You know what? I won't get drunk tonight. I don't need to be playing pummel party to get drunk. I'm gonna get so drunk and be on duty all night.
That's not a thing tonight?
No.
What the fuck?
I think I'm gonna do every other week.
Why?
Because getting role players away from role play is like getting bear cubs away from their mother.
What if I wanted to play tonight?
I think Ashland's doing something.
Ashland's always doing something.
That's true. Let me see. Let me feel out some. Let me throw out some feeler DMs.
Anyway, back to the list. So improper use of police equipment, i.e. driving the improper car, having the improper livery on it, carrying the 7.62 PD rifle when you're not authorized to do so, or using it when SOPs dictate not to use it, or wearing the wrong uniform. That's number 1. You can get a 1 to 3 day suspension for that.
Okay.
Issue number 2,
All
OC.
things I don't do. Got it.
Use of narcotics or controlled substance during an active situation. That's using oxy to stop your bleeding or using weed to get more more armor. This does not include de-stressing. It doesn't include de-stressing. If you want to use the weed to de-stress, I don't give a shit.
All right.
And number 3, not abiding by the 5 cop limit.
Oh, is that a thing again?
Yeah, that's a heavily enforced thing now.
But
this
not for
one.
1013s?
Wait, what?
I thought
5 cop
1013s
limit.
sold.
This is when there's not 5 cops on duty and you're playing your
so
cousin.
literally right now.
This is an exception.
Okay, all right.
So this one can equate to termination at a point. You have pretty much 3 chances. First one is a day suspension. Second one's 3 days. The third one's 5 days. Fourth one's termination.
Okay. All right, that's it.
And fourth one is tampering with police reports.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, a lot of people spend a lot of time writing these things, and if somebody fucks with it, you're an asshole. So that one, the first offense is day suspension.
Wow.
And that can lead up to termination at some point.
Sounds like literally none of this is going to affect me at all.
All right, so
Fantastic.
now the in-character stuff.
Oh no!
And you'll be able to have fun since you love court cases.
All right.
So the way this is gonna work is if you get some sort of allegation, crims or citizens. What the fuck is happening right now?
Oh, they're just having fun.
A little bit too much fun. Holy shit. So citizens will have the chance to make a complaint against officers, and that is for unlawful or excessive use of force, mishandling of a hostage, not going to court when subpoenaed, and professionalism with the public.
Wait, hold on a second. Crims are going to
Crims and
be able-
citizens.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so what's gonna happen is they can come into Mission Row, ask for a sergeant, right? Say they want to make a complaint against a certain officer. The sergeant will take the complaint and they'll send it up to high command. High command will notify the subject officer that they have a complaint allegation against them, and then that they need to meet, and we'll give them like a week's notice or whatever. The subject officer can get a lawyer or representation if they would like, and formulate their plan of attack or whatever. And once we meet, we'll inform the officer, hey, this is the allegations, this is what the person said happened. This is the evidence that we have to support this. What do you got? And if your argument makes sense and we deem that there's no type of misconduct, then nothing happens.
Misuse of a hostage?
Yeah.
So
Shoot the
let me get
hostage.
this straight. Crims can take somebody hostage. Can Crims
No.
report misuse of
So
their
the
hostage?
person
sounds
needs to be
retarded.
involved. So if the hostage feels like the cop mishandled them or hurt them in any way, then they have to come make that complaint, not the fucking crim that took them. That's just stupid. I would arrest the crim
Okay.
for doing that if they were like, hey, I took a hostage and they cops shot him. I'm like, all right, dude, you're under arrest.
Oh, yeah. And then what was that? Misconduct with the public?
Professionalism with the public.
What even is that? What does that even mean?
Does that mean?
Yeah, what does that even mean?
All right, so let's say, I'm just driving around, I run a red light, and then an officer pulls me over, and they walk up, they're like, hey, bitch, give me your fucking license, bitch. Give it to me now. Get the fuck out of the car, bitch.
Don't worry. I've been training for this. I've got something set up that's perfect for this.
Uh-huh. But, so if there is any misconduct...
This is Jordan Bach. 2.0. You have been pulled over for speeding. S.E. for guilty. E for bench trial. L for lawyer. You have selected bench trial. Peaceful.
Oh, fuck. That should be a day.
Good, right?
RoboCop day should be a thing. Holy shit. You just gave me an idea. Thank you.
No, that's my idea. No, that's actually my idea. We'll talk. We're gonna talk. We'll talk. We'll talk. Actually, I do need to talk to you about this idea that I have.
Okay, let me finish.
We'll talk.
None of those incidents equate to any sort of termination. They do if you are deemed that you did some sort of misconduct, you get strike points. 30 strike points in a month period equates 1 day suspension. The day you get that strike point, they do roll off 30 days from that day it's issued.
Okay, so how many strike points is professionalism with the public?
It's 5 strike points.
Oh. Fuck it, I'll take a fucking day off. And hold on, if we're suspended, then the minimum 5 cop rule doesn't apply to us, right?
No,
'Cause
it
we're
doesn't,
suspended.
obviously, but...
All right, easy.
But...
What?
You gotta hear this but. This goes to the OC issue.
Okay.
Any misuse of the suspension system or ICU so that you can go play your cousin equals termination, so don't be an asshole.
Well, I don't want to get fucking suspended. All right, but here's the thing. All right. Okay, listen. You think I get reported a lot right now? You guys don't want this because more than half of your day is going to be spent taking reports from fucking assholes.
Well, listen. The people have spoken. They want some sort of repercussion, and I agree. We
Okay.
do need some sort of. Just let me finish. We do need something governing us a little bit, and this is kind of the middle ground here, where it's not gonna 100% hurt you, but it is gonna offer something that you're gonna be able to bring into the city. And then high command is I'm gonna make sure that we do a good job about reading through shitty situations. If it's like something that's scuffed or dumb, I'm gonna be like, yo, dude, this is fucking dumb. No.
Yeah, I got a court case about that right now.
So yeah, we're gonna do a better job than that.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I'm about it. I'm cool with that. But if people are gonna get serious, if people want me to get serious, I'm gonna get real serious.
This isn't to make you serious. Not
Well,
at all.
too late.
Like I
Serious
expect
season.
you. Like, shut the fuck up.
Wait, I'm not role playing right now. Hey.
Excuse me.
All right.
This isn't to make you serious. It's just to. It's supposed to be the middle ground to be able to add some little role play to it. Like I fully expect you to
I
fucking win
understand
every case.
Yeah, listen. I understand, but I'm not. I can't not call people. Listen, if I can't drink and smoke, and say fuck. All right, hold on. Jordan Steele, I'm coming. Don't worry, I'm coming right now.
Keep firing that. I'll keep dealing with this.
Tell me when.
All right.
Okay, I'm coming.
2, 1, fire.
All right, I gotta go. Can I sign on duty here?
Yeah, go ahead. I think it's
Where
outside.
the fuck do you sign on duty? I don't even fucking see it.
It's outside.
Oh.
I see it's like
More shots and faster.
All right. Yeah, this
not,
all
like,
sounds
crazy
great.
faster,
You're probably
but-
getting 5 out.
All right.
All right. Fuck you.